So welcome to my new to me Renault 16 from 1969. I thought I'd make this short video, walk you through the car, discuss what my plans are for it, how I got it. I realised there isn't really that much content on the Renault 16s on YouTube, so I thought I'd do my part and share with you my journey with this one. So here we have her in all her glory, my Renault 16. I want to bring in closer and I'll sort of point out some details that I find interesting, and also point out some of the challenges I may face with this one. So yeah, well, let's start the tour, shall we? So let's start from the back, shall we? This is an early example, as you can tell. You can tell by the shape of the rear lights. It's got sort of this teardrop-y shape, I suppose. Later cars, and when you get into the 70s, got much more squared off, more rectangular shape, which aren't as pretty in my eyes. So I'm glad this has got the early style. If you come this way, you can tell the roof has got an interesting shape to it. It's got almost like a double bubble design with sort of a detent in the middle, and that also goes through. When you look at the bonnet, it's also got a similar shape. So yeah, it's got some interesting design cues, I think. Looking at the overall shape of the car, you can tell that it's been sitting for a while. Moss is starting to form here, so I'll probably end up having to clean this car, I suppose. Otherwise, yeah, there is a bit of rust. You can tell the chrome isn't in the best of shapes, and I think come down here, you can tell, yeah, it's not horrible. I think it's been restored at some point, actually, earlier in its life. Well, I know it has, because it's actually supposed to be green. It was green when it left the factory. This is another nice little design element, I think. This badge on the rear wing, and the lovely hubcaps, which I think actually are stainless, so they're not chrome, so they will probably have fared quite well. And here you can see, yeah, this is quite bubbly, suspiciously. So yeah, it's a bit crusty. Same round the arches. Sills actually feel fairly solid, so I suppose it's had some welding done. This being a 60s French car, it's obviously prone to rust, and I think most of these cars actually started rusting before they left the forecourt, to be honest. This is another lovely thing. I love these handles. You can see, if you come down here, you can see that it's got this sort of line that goes through the entire length of the car, and that the door handles are actually part of it, and you got these detents for your hands to go for opening the car. Coming further forwards, you've got these lovely side indicators, which I don't know what they are really quite good. You can really see them from almost any angle, and they've got this sort of something about them that just screams French car to me. Don't know why. Again, lovely hubcaps, and got this fresh air vent that you can open from inside the cabin. Oh, you're supposed to be able to open it. I'm not sure how well it works at the moment. And I'll take you through the front of the car. Let's see. Oh yeah. Sorry, I had to edit that out because it was just lots of crap in the way. So yeah, here it's from the front. As you can see, the headlights are quite bad, in a bad way. They will gonna have to change those out. I've got some new ones with the car, so I'm going to swap those out for some better ones. Now, under the bonnet, see if I can do this one-handed. You open the bonnet. It's quite intricate actually. You got a lock here for a key. It's unlocked now, but you can lock the bonnet from outside. And to open it, you squeeze these two together, and then you lift it. Let's see if I can do this. Ow. Bloody hell! And then there's this catch over here. Oh yeah, I got it, I think. Bear with me. Yeah, I don't know how much of that you caught, but it was difficult to do it one-handed. So here's the engine, and this is 16TL, but it's actually had the engine from 16TS put in it at some point, which means it's got a bit more power. Now, these weren't very powerful to begin with. I think the TL had something like 55 or 60 horsepower to begin with, but the TS actually had 75 horsepower. So it's it's a sporty little thing. This. The easiest way to tell the engines apart is that the TS actually is a cross-flow design. So you got the carb and the intake here, and you got the exhaust manifold on that side. The lesser engine had the intake and exhaust on the same side. So that's the easiest way to tell them apart. Now, obviously this doesn't run. I've had it running briefly, or at least sort of kicking over briefly. I might insert some footage of that here. I'll probably make a more in-depth video of what I've done to it and what my plans are going forward as well. But yeah, so that's the basic external walk around of the car, and I'll join you again on the inside, I think. So here we are on the inside of the Renault. As you can see, it's quite nicely laid out. I'm not sure how much of this you're going to be able to see. The lighting in here is quite poor. I've got a torch and I'm trying to sort of shine a light up into the ceiling to be able to make it a bit more easier to see, but yeah, you're gonna have to bear with me. Lovely faux wood veneer, this lovely big 2-spoke steering wheel, gear lever, got 4-speed gearbox on this one. Later cars actually had a 5-speed, and it's column shifts, as you can tell. You got some nice sort of vent controls there, and some buttons that I'm not really sure what they do. I'm gonna have to look into that. And that looks like a hangout of a bathroom. I'm probably gonna get rid of that at some point as well. We've got the vents going across the entire length of the dash, and some sort of random non-standard push buttons down here. And I'm gonna have to show this. I hope that the Jesus, let's see if I can get this bloody torch to do something. Maybe. This is probably the most French / the most 60s thing I've seen. obviously you've got the ashtray here and the cigarette lighter, which seems to be stuck. Okay, never mind. And this is an empty pack of French cigarettes, and it's got a designated holder for the cigarettes, which I really like. Oh, I'm not smoking, but I don't smoke, but it's just such a typically French thing in my eyes. So yeah, that's pretty much the inside. So yeah, so once we're in here, I thought I'd tell you how I got the car. And yeah, this car actually belonged to my brother. He bought it something like 15 years ago and actually used it for a few years as sort of a daily. And then it got laid up for whatever reason, and it wasn't used for a number of years. And then obviously, cars sitting around, they tend to break. So he sort of it sat in various locations and just gathering dust and becoming a sort of a bad conscience for him. And then I sort of told him that I would be interested in it, and he gave it to me for my 40th birthday. So the plan is to get it running and get it MOT'd for the last time. I live in Sweden, and cars that are 50 years or older are actually MOT exempt. So I'm hoping to be able to get it back on the road. I'm not gonna do anything crazy with it. It's not gonna be a nut and bolt restoration. It will just be sort of a dailyable classic, I think. As I previously mentioned, I'm not sure what it looks like underneath, rust wise. And the guy that my brother bought it from actually had restored it, but that must be, I mean, over 20 years ago. So depending on how good a work he did, I might have to redo something, which can be an issue because I don't know how to weld yet and have to learn that. Yeah, but my main problem right now is that the engine doesn't run. I've managed to get it to give me a few coughs, as I said, and I'll make a more in-depth video of my work thus far with it in that regards. But yeah, so I'm gonna end it here, and I'll hopefully see you again fairly soon. Okay, cheers.